I was raised in a family of entrepreneurs, so I always kind of had entrepreneurship in the back of my mind, but never really thought it was something that I was going to pursue right out of college. I thought maybe I'd go get a job, I'd work in consulting for 10 years, and then maybe I'd pursue entrepreneurship in, my late 30s. That to me was a more realistic plan. And then COVID happened. I kind of realized I didn't want to go into consulting. And this idea kind of came to me while I was doing an internship, and it just kind of went from there. I ended up winning Pitch George, which is a GW competition here on campus in fall of 2021, and then I won GW's larger new venture competition in the spring of 2022. So at that point, I had $16,000 to go and start my business, and I gave it a shot, made sure that I had a good product, and I did, and it kind of just kept rolling from there. And a year later, I had a full-on business that has just launched. Klebbies is a line of baking mixes with cannabis-infused vegetable oil. We just launched in April 2023. We're now available in Massachusetts dispensaries all over the state. The story about how I started Klebbies is a little bit interesting. So it was during COVID. My dad was asked to help a group of social equity applicants. Social equity applicants in the cannabis world means applicants who were previously incarcerated on marijuana convictions. There's programs in most states now to give priority licenses for dispensaries, grow facilities to those applicants. So my dad was asked to help a group of social equity applicants open up a dispensary right outside of Boston. This was during COVID. I was living at home. I think I'd probably just lost my second internship for the summer that had gotten canceled, and I was really looking for something to do. So I hopped in as an intern. Obviously, it was cannabis. I was like, this is awesome. So I jumped in, and the first task that my dad gave me was to go out and see what every other dispensary was carrying and to try to develop our product mix. At the time, I was 20, so I'd never actually been in a dispensary. But as a baker, the first thing I looked for was pot brownies, probably because that's what I wanted to have in the dispensary. So selfishly, that's what I was looking for, and that's when I realized that not a single dispensary was selling pot brownies. And, very rationally, I was like, why is this? When I think of edibles, I think of pot brownies. I did my research. I found out that because every product that's sold in a dispensary gets sent off to a lab for testing, by the time it gets back from a testing lab, you're never going to be able to sell a fresh baked item. And that's basically across every state. Even in the most mature states, it's still taking 3-4 days to get back from a lab, and then you got to get it on your shelves. That product's not going to be fresh. So I said, I don't want to really give up on this fresh baked edibles dream, and ended up coming up with the idea for baking mixes, cannabis-infused baking mixes, and kind of went from there, and the company just kind of evolved from that experience. My favorite experience is definitely probably working with my family. I'm technically a solo entrepreneur on paper, but my family is really heavily involved. As I said, both my parents are entrepreneurs, so both have been able to really help me along this journey and, filling in the knowledge gaps that I just don't have, whether that be with contract negotiations or, financials. They really help me. My cousins are involved. My whole family's coming and doing the pop-ups. So, being able to build a business that's mine, but also with my family, has been a really fun experience. It gives me an excuse to, call my family members and chat with them, but it's also, I think, brought us a lot closer.